Well, all right, here we go. Show number 23. Show number 23 of season number 1. Show number 23 of 30 shows. That's what I had planned to do all along. Reevaluate what's happening. And by reevaluation, it doesn't mean, oh, I'm gonna quit or not. I'm not at that quitting stage yet. I'm not at that. The audience keeps growing and growing and growing. Not as much as I would like, but it's growing. And I'm very happy about that. And I think I'm very lucky that it is growing because this is a show that really doesn't have necessarily a real identity yet. A lot of ideas I have that I would like to try, like in season number 2, I want to have more guests. It's going to be, I found a format that's going to allow me to take phone calls and a new studio and all that kind of stuff. Wow. I mean, I just get so excited about the possibilities of it and trying all the new things. I'm not afraid to try the new stuff. So that's going to bring me up to season number 2, which will start early 2024. If you'd like to help out a little bit, believe it or not, every little sale of a t-shirt helps. We got the Wombat shirts. Hello, Wombats out there. We got the Wombat shirts available at terryjames.com. If you click on the merch thing, it'll take you right to it. Plus, there's a couple of other funny shirts you can pick up. All the money is going to go towards a brand new studio, building a brand new studio, which I'm understanding is getting to be quite an expensive thing. One of the other things that I'm also learning is that it's how do I say this? It's kind of a tough thing to do on your own. I'm learning, and I've been doing stuff at night, been trying out new things, streaming services, but I do want to stream shows maybe 2 times a week, at the very least 2 times a week, and I just don't know what time. I'm thinking maybe Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Thursday, just to check in throughout the week, and I'm looking forward to that. That could be pretty good. So there you go. Got an appearance this weekend in Springfield, Missouri. We have the Lexington Golf Classic, the Subpar Classic, which is happening. Looking forward to seeing everybody. If you're listening to this on Thursday, I am on my way to Springfield right now. Look up in the sky. If you see a plane, that's probably the Givers flying through the air. Heading to Springfield. We'll be there tonight. We've got an appearance tomorrow night. We're going to do our show live from there, the Lexington show live on Friday morning just for Springfield people while everybody else gets a best of. That's going to be a new thing. That's going to be a fun thing. And let's see here then Friday night, tomorrow night, if you're listening on Thursday once again, we are going to be at a place called Just One More from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Then I'm going to go back to bed because we got the golf tournament on Saturday. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. And I can't wait. I really, we don't do enough of these. We just don't do enough of these things. So I'm very fired up. Plus, I missed the last 2. One was because I couldn't get a flight because of COVID. They had shut down flights going into Washington or something. That's how long ago this was. Then last year, Sherry broke her wrist or her hand and her foot on a bike ride when we were in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I had to stay home and take care of her. It had just happened. She couldn't go to the bathroom. She couldn't shower. She couldn't do anything. And I got to give it to the people in Springfield from our radio station there, Shadow and everybody at Q102 for saying, hey, family first, buddy. Take care of him, because I was feeling very guilty, and I also was feeling very selfish because I feel like I kind of missed out on some fun. So there you go. All right. I'm a little, I should probably just get into it, but I'm just going to go ahead and air some things out. Well, this is what this show is. And I'm going to air something out, and I don't even know I'm going to air this out right now. But I'm just a little pissed off at myself right now. Have you ever let people in your life, whether it's a loved one, a neighbor, a coworker, anybody in your life, just kind of walk up to that line and see how far they could push it every single time? Well, I've been letting certain things like that in all aspects of my life happen to me for a long time because I don't like the confrontation. I like people being responsible for their own actions. I like people picking up on my hints, like, whatever. Like I hinted around to something today to a loved one that I I really wasn't feeling like I wanted to do this or commit to this, yet they just kept pounding and pounding and pounding. And guess who's doing it? So I'm just angry at myself for that. And this is something I definitely need to work on, because a few things happened recently, very recently. And the more I think about it, the more I get pissed off at myself. And then I start to get mad at the other person, because I shouldn't be pissed off at myself. I've been very clear about what my guidelines are, what my expectations are, what my lines are. Very clear. Even if it's not just yelling at your face, I don't want to do that, things like that. I've been very clear. People know where I stand. Yet, the line keeps being pushed. So if you're one of those people out there that's dealing with that, I'm hoping to find a solution that I can pass along on this show. And if you do have a solution, that's why I love this show. Help me out. Help me out. If you are somebody who constantly gets their line being pushed, and if you finally had enough and figured out the best way to let everybody in your life know, could be strangers. Could be strangers trying to see how far they could get away with you in traffic or in a line at a coffee shop or whatever. If you found a way to do it without being an asshole, because I do not want to be an asshole. I don't want to be a dictator. I don't want to be any of that. I just want some respect and some acknowledgement that, hey, you know what? You're right. You're right, man. I think I know where you stand on this thing, and I'll do better next time. I'm tired of being the guy that always says, I got to do better. Well, I'm done fucking working on me in certain aspects of my life. I'm done with it. I think that I've got it. This is not one of the aspects of my life. I need work on this right now, so I do need your help. If you have an idea, you could leave it in voice form, which would be great. If you go to terryjames.com, you click on the microphone and the bottom right-hand portion of the page. You could do that on your phone. You could do that on your laptop. And just leave the message. I would love to hear it, and I will play it on the next show. So thank you very much for doing that. Okay. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I guess it's time to get started, huh? Let's hear from Larry and Cabas right here with my theme song. Ever. Through all kinds of weather. Here we go. I love this part right here. I scream at the top of my lungs. On today's show, oh man. On today's show, which I've learned through the algorithms is a health and wellness show. Congratulations to us, huh? I didn't know that, but we'll see what happens when we get to season number 2 that I've been talking about. Anyway, so that's happening. We have that, but let's see here. I wrote down what we had to do. Let me take a look here. Hang on. Let me take a look here. I got to turn the light on because I can't see. Oh, that's not good on camera. Oh, that is not good. That's not good. All right, here we go. On today's show, let's see here. I got posed a question that I think is a fantastic question. It has to do with, what do I want more in my life, love or adulation? And when I was asked this, I was like, and it was from somebody that doesn't work in the show businessy type of thing, because I think everybody in show business has a little bit of something wrong with them. I know that it's a weird thing that motivates us, but it fits into both those categories. So we're going to be getting into that. Also, have you had a wake-up call in your life? Could be a health wake-up call, could be losing a job, could be whatever it is, and you get all excited about it. You go, not excited, but you have to deal with it. I better start taking actions to make sure I don't lose all my money. I have to start making actions, make sure I don't lose my life, something even worse than that. Those wake-up calls are very loud, and we usually take action on them right away, and then we kind of let them go. Well, we're going to be talking about that here. And if you've ever had a plan, and you're following the directions and the way that you set it out, and things get all wonky and screwy, I'm here to say this to you. Congratulations. When you start a venture like this, a podcast, a blog, whatever, especially a podcast, You don't know, or I don't know. What am I saying? You don't know. I didn't know what this show was going to be. And I still don't know what this show is going to be. Wrapping up season number 1. I think in season number 2, I plan to have some guests and do some other things and stream live and all that. Still not sure what the show really is. And while you're searching for this, a lot of times the platforms, the algorithms want to put you in a certain category. And it turns out, from what I can tell, is that I am now a health and wellness show. Really? Really? Anyway, I'm apparently I'm a health and wellness show. So welcome to one of the rising, by the way, it showed on a thing, one of the rising health and wellness shows in the world. Who would have thought, huh? That's what's so beautiful about this. You never know what's going to happen. And it leads me into what I want to talk about, actually. Being a dreamer, which I am, and by the way, sometimes this show should come with a warning, and this is one of those. This is what I want to talk to you about, is basically a warning. For those of you that are younger that are listening, for those that are older, you're going to totally get it. You're going to totally understand what I'm saying here. But being a dreamer, being a goal setter is definitely a two-edged sword. Sword. I said sword. Isn't that what it is? Health and wellness people know. Terry James doesn't. It definitely is a two-edged sword. And it's got the highs, it's got the lows, it's got everything you want when you're a dreamer, when you got goals. You're constantly shooting for something. You're focusing your energy on something that you strongly desire. In your heart, you know you could do it. I'm getting so excited that I stumble over my words. I need to slow down here because this is one of my favorite subjects. In your heart, you know you can do it. Otherwise, you are not going to be given the idea of doing something. Like I've told you before, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow morning and go, brain surgeon. That's what I want to be. In your heart and soul knows what you're capable of doing. You have to totally believe that. But knowing that, it's going to let you down when you follow that path. You're always going to be let down, as a matter of fact, when you follow that path. There's highs, there's lows as you obtain a different sort of status, as you get closer and closer to your dream and your goal and all that. And it could be a financial goal. It could be a career goal. It could be a spiritual goal. It could be anything, which, by the way, I have all of those goals still all floating around in the air. I've got plates spinning in every direction. So, yes, I am experiencing a lot of these highs and lows currently as I'm sitting here talking to you. A long time ago, I realized, and this really helped me out, was that I go after a goal, I visualize, I focus in on it, but I do not visualize and focus on a specific outcome because I've learned that doors can open up along the way. Your mind gets changed sometimes when you learn more about where you're headed. Sometimes you realize, I don't know, this isn't for me. Or sometimes you go, wait a minute, I met somebody on my way to this specific goal who totally pointed me in another direction, and my life is beautiful because of that. So you have to realize that you got to get into the idea that there is no specific outcome in anything. Okay, there's no set path. Even though you're setting a path, there's no solid set path in stone. It doesn't have to happen, and it will not happen incrementally. It just doesn't do it. You take step A to step B to step C to step E and all. I forgot D because I'm very focused like that. But you take those steps and you think that there's going to be something along every level of steps. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes there's nothing there. You're just going, what the fuck? But I'd be willing to bet right now that almost all people, all successful people, who visualized their success on some high level. I'm talking about the most successful people out there who visualized it and went for it and everything else. I'm here to tell you They took a different path along the way. A different thing happened than they envisioned. So what I'm trying to say is that don't get upset when things don't go your way. It's probably a nudge from the universe. It's probably God or whoever you believe in, or your spirit guides, or your whatever you believe in, your horoscope, whatever. It's probably that nudging you in a different direction, and don't fight it. Let it go. Enjoy the fucking ride. Enjoy what's about to happen to you. And when you enjoy it, you're going to make better decisions along the way. You really are. Because at the end of the day, when you really look at it, even in the people that we want to trust the most in our life, our doctors who have all the research behind them and everything else, they don't really know. They're just taking what they know right now and getting you to a certain level, but nobody really knows exactly what's going to happen. What I'm trying to say is lighten up on yourself, lighten up on everybody around you, because we are all just winging it. Got a little night shoot happening tonight if you're watching on YouTube. Sitting here in my studio, also known as my guest bedroom. Beautiful night here in Seattle, as you can tell. Clear skies, everything else. But anyway, it's time to get busy, okay? If there's one thing that could you ever take from me on any of these shows, I hope it's this. I really do. I hope it's this. Do not wait for a wake-up call. Wake-up calls come in many forms. It could be a health scare. I told you that I've been going to the doctor and everything else. I got a calcium test back from my heart because my family has a history of heart disease. I had it checked maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little longer than that, maybe 6 years ago. Turned out that I had a zero score, which is great, which is fantastic. Now I'm at a 6% type of thing. And anywhere from 1 to 10, there's a very minimal chance of heart disease, heart attack type of thing. It gets scary right around 400 or 200 or 400 or something like that. So I'm way away from that. But I'm really glad that I was proactive at it. They're going to put me on a little thing just to make sure. I mean, I've got good cholesterol and everything, so we're just going to keep an eye on it. And at first, I'm starting to feel old going, this sucks. I might have to take a pill, I don't want to take a pill. I don't want a damn prescription. But you know what? It's kind of a wake-up call. Very minor wake-up call. I'm making it much bigger than it is, but I'm glad I am, because I'm looking at life to be much bigger than it is right now. I want to live a big life. I've lived big lives before. I want to live a big life again, but I don't want anyone to see it. Does that make sense? To some of you it does. So do not wait for your wake-up call. Start eating better when it comes to health. Start being more proactive. If you're drinking too much, don't. If you're smoking, what's that going to get you? Except, dead. It's amazing how addictive we are to things like this, whether it's booze or cigarettes or caffeine even and things like that. Food in general, people are very addicted to. So just be very careful and start early. Don't wait till you get to be my age. Don't wait till you even get older, because you can't turn it around. That's why I'm doing this use it or lose it thing. I've been pretty sedentary when it comes to working out. I've been using my schedule as an excuse. And you know what? I just have to figure that out. My sleep is horrible. My sleep patterns are horrible. So I have to start adjusting that. I'm going to have to start going to bed sooner. I'm just going to have to do it. I have to take care of myself until the day comes when I do not have to wake up at 2:30 in the morning again. It's the only thing I'm going to miss about the morning radio show is waking up. I mean, I love it, everything else, but you know what? I know that I'm doing damage to myself doing it. So what do I got to do? I have to nip it in the bud. It's kind of a wake-up call. I've been reading and all that kind of stuff all about how important rest and sleep is, and I just have to find ways to do it. there's no answer. There's no answer for everybody, not a blanket answer. You got to figure it out on your own. Let's talk about finances. Why wait till you're broke? Start saving. Start planning. I will say this. Sherry is a saver. Sherry is a planner. If it was for me, I would just be spending it all the time and everything else. And because of Sherry, I now have health insurance. I now have, maybe a little bit of money to fall back on. If I lose my job for a while, I could be okay. Don't wait for those wake-up calls. Start saving now. You never know what's going to happen. A family member could need a loan. Your tires go flat, and all of a sudden you have no money. It always seems that way, doesn't it? So these are wake-up calls that have been handed to you by the universe, slapping you in the face, going, hey, take care of the simple shit. The simple shit is boring. It's no fun eating healthy. It's no fun saying no to that second or third or fourth drink. It's no fun quitting smoking for some of you. It's no fun saving money. It's no fun saying no to a night out with your friends because you can't really afford it. I have some friends right now that do that, and I totally respect them. They'll just even say it. Hey, I just can't afford it tonight. I'm saving some money for some stuff, and I get it. I don't completely understand it. I, too, have been using that, not excuse, but that reason for staying home a few more nights a week or a month or whatever it is. These are all proactive things. These are all wake-up calls. What about relationship wake-up calls? I think those are the worst. They won't kill you unless, of course, you get some axe murder or something like that. I choose to concentrate on the things that might take my life, such as eating better and working out and everything else. I've lived through some highs and lows financially. I think I can overcome those. But relationships, there's all those warning signs, all those wake-up calls. It's like, really? You cheated on me? I'm not going to believe your excuse. You lied to me. You presented yourself differently when we started dating than you are now. But I've already invested 1.5 years into this thing, so I got to see it through. You don't have to see it through. These are all wake-up calls. What are you going to do with it? I'll tell you what. The most unpopular decision there is sometimes turns out to be the greatest decision down the road. Like I said, whether it's to save money, whether it's to eat better, exercise more. You see these red flags from the people you're dating and you write it off because, I've got some time invested, or I don't want to be lonely or anything like that. And man, that'll just fuck you up. It will just tear you up. So that's all I wanted to say tonight. If you take anything at all, pay attention to the wake-up calls. Wake-up call before they become giant wake-up calls. A giant wake-up call is scary. The little wake-up calls, pay attention to them. Get a plan, okay? And you'll thank me in the long run. So if you could see behind me on YouTube, it is a rainy day here in Seattle now. This is the time of year this happens. You're going to be seeing a lot more of me because it is no fun going out there. It's depressing as anything. I'll get on that in another episode or so, but it's really strange. I was thinking about podcasting as opposed to radio. And in my personal life and everything else, you get into this job, and I believe we get into this job, and I know that on the Lex and Terry show, when I say this, I think it ruffles a few feathers, and I don't know why. Because I talk about how we get into this job because we want to be loved. We want to be recognized. We have something to say. There's something in us. I don't know if it's something that's happened in the past. I don't know if it's just I don't want to call it a flaw, but it is a strange thing where somebody decides to get on a microphone and tell everybody the most intimate parts of their life. This isn't just like being a DJ and playing a song. This is This is life, and it's really strange to just throw it out there and wonder what's going to happen. And I was talking to a friend of mine about this. And he's not in radio, but he was asking me, he goes, what is it you like the most? Is it the love or the adulation? And I went, God, no one's ever asked the question like that. Is it love or adulation? And I think early on, excuse me, it's definitely adulation. I want the to be recognized. I wanted to, that just meant you were doing a good job. It's not like I wanted everybody to see me or ask for an autograph or talk to me about the show. If I did something good, I liked that part of the job, but that wasn't the reason why I was driven by it by any means. But I think you get on the microphone because of certain things. You need something like that in your life. And I don't know if that makes us flawed or whatever, but I know that when I bring it up to the guys on the Lex and Terry show, they don't like hearing that we're kind of flawed or there's something wrong with us that makes us choose this. We all have to, you can hear it on the show. People step over each other to say something. We all want to tell our own stories. We all want to, it's just really odd. And the more that I've done this show, the more that I've just accepted it and just let it go. But the question kind of threw me for a loop. What do we want, love or adulation? And I have to say, adulation means I think you're doing a good job. So professionally, adulation is good. It's a good thing. But this podcasting is way different than radio to me, although not much different because of the type of radio show we do. But talking about this show here, it's specifically, it's not a Lex and Terry show. It's not a lot of conflict, and it's not a lot of sexy stuff. It's not a lot of, who knows what it's going to be, but it doesn't have a lot of that. This just has a lot of other people, including myself, that want to talk about things that are important to them in hopes that while you're talking about it, that maybe I'll figure something out, or maybe somebody will lend me some great advice, or maybe on the odd times that I will give somebody advice that changes their life. And it makes me so happy when I do that. It really does. It's a happiness that I don't feel telling dick jokes. Telling dick jokes is a blast. I love it. But this is a different level. It's a level up or even a level below happiness. It's a love thing. It really is. So I really think this podcasting is set up to be such a more personal outlet for things. So what I'm trying to say is I love you guys. I really do. And if you love me back, great. I think it's fantastic because it's a lot different than this because we're exposing ourselves. We're cheering each other on. I think that you legitimately want to see me succeed as a person, as a husband, as a podcast host. I mean, that's why you're here. And I want to see you succeed. And if there's anything that comes out of this show that sparks your life or different way of thinking or helps you through a tough time, and maybe we have some laughs together still, man, it's just a real personal thing. So I think to answer the question, as far as podcasting goes, it's definitely a love thing. It's a love thing. Yeah. I wonder if I should play that song by the Whispers and try to get in trouble by Apple Podcast. I think I would get in trouble. Google it and play it yourself. But guys, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here. Season number 2 is coming up, which you're going to hear a little bit more about here in the close. But I just wanted to thank you guys. I've never really thought of it until I was asked the question, and the question just had me thinking for a few days, which often happens when somebody poses a good question for me. I tend to think about it and keep thinking about it. Then it hits me at the worst times, like right before I'm starting to fall asleep or I'm in the shower or whatever it is. But I just want to thank you guys so much for being along with me in this journey, for getting something out of this. Yeah, you know. Well, there you have it, guys. Show number 20. What is this again? Show number 23 of 30 wrapped up in the books. Please share it. Thank you so much for sharing it. If you've heard something here that you think maybe would help out a friend of yours, that's the best way to do it. Just share that with somebody if you think the information's good for them. I don't want to be one of those people that says, please share the show and like it, pound the page, hit the Facebook page, because that's not authentic. That's not real people that really care about the show. I'd rather have 30 people that really are into it than 3,000 people who could give a fuck. So that's my theory. That's my formula right there. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Be safe. And I look forward to the next show right here from the what am I saying? I guess it's the Terry James Show podcast show pod. I'll figure it out maybe in season number 2. Thanks, guys.